Generic greetings and welcome to Construction Plus Prison Architect Alpha 35 Episode 1. So I must confess I wasn't going to bother doing a series for Alpha 35 because it's more of a continuation from the previous Alpha, basically finishing off gangs, but after watching the video from Introversion I thought, ooh, that looks really interesting. So I'm going to be doing a full series as always. First episode, this one here, will be just planning, no construction, and then you can give your feedback, thoughts, etc. And then I will incorporate it into the build as we progress on. As always, a monthly build, and we'll see how it goes. We're going to do a high-risk prison because I want to really try the gang stuff out, and also death row if we have the space, but we'll have to see how that one goes as I build. I think we'll probably end up doing just high risk, mainly for the gangs, but you know, we'll see how we go. So let's just go to planning, and then to walls. As I said, no construction on this episode, just planning away. So I'm going to do a central prison, and after my previous video of going through and doing like prisons with like chalets and stuff, that's what we've been that's what I was doing previously. A long time we had like little chalets and stuff, little separate areas. That's pretty much what we're going to be doing in this one. So we're going to have the chalets on the outside where we'll have little sort of I guess it would be 5 or 6, I don't know how many it would be, maybe between 6 and 10 cells per block, but we'll see how far we get on that one. So we just need to know the center. We're going to have a central canteen and kitchen, central yard which will be fenced off for reasons that will become clear later on, and also basically central everything, and then cells down the side. But again, we'll have to see how we get on with this one. Alpha 35 has basically added more gang stuff. So we have well, I guess the best way to describe it is more gang interaction. So obviously there was gangs in the previous one and all they did was fight, you know, but that was about it. But now we have gang leaders and lieutenants, which the leaders pass the orders to the lieutenants order like sort of hits and plays, which will then take over areas like the yard and the common room and things like that. And if you ever lock them up, then they go crazy. So it's going to be quite difficult. Obviously I have started a new map with gangs on and also put fairly condition on, so this is going to be quite difficult. Just before I forget, I'm actually going to go to our reports here and make sure we turn off intake to nothing. We don't want that at all. And then we can also get rid of the CEO's letter. Also, it's been announced that this is going to be released in October sometime, assuming it doesn't slip, you understand. So, you know, it's going to be an interesting one, and then we'll go through the campaign when we do that, if they're actually going to bring up campaign out for it. There was an idea for a campaign, but I don't know how that one's going. Anyway, let's just do the center of this thing. We need an area for garbage and for deliveries, and we're going to just make it a 5x5 area, so it'll be sort of 5x5. That'll be garbage, that'll be deliveries. In fact, we might as well go ahead and do that now. We're not going to have exports because I don't really want to have anyone working in this thing. Let's put deliveries there and then garbage there. I don't really want to have anyone working in the prison because, well, because of the amount of gang members we might have, it'll probably be an interesting proposition, won't it? Anyway, so we're going to pretty much expand this. We need like an entranceway, so this will be our entrance, and also this will be our reception area where we'll actually bring the prisoners in, you see. And then the reason this is slightly split off is because we'll bring prisoners in here, and then, oh, do we want to do that? See, I want an area for, I want to be able to get the garbage very quickly from the kitchen and stuff, and there's the deliveries as well, so we could have it expand off there and go up to another area. No, you know what, I'm not going to bother with that. What I'll do, I'll just have one big reception area like that. So this will be where we actually search the prisoners and such, and then they will be taken out through an area. I don't know where that'll be. Probably if we have a strip going down here. In fact, what I'm going to do, I'm going to make sure I get my officers put in first. Officers are going to be on this side, so it's just 4x4 as you like, all the way on the bottom. I don't know why I always put officers on the bottom rather than the top, but that's just the way it's going. So there we go. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many do we need? I believe we need 5. Let's have a quick look. 1 for the chief, 1 for the warden, 1 for the foreman, 1 for the accountant, 1 for the lawyer, and then the psychologist goes elsewhere. So there we go. That should be about right. Now, I was thinking about doing a very cramped prison, as in get the lawyer up. And in bureaucracy, you can go for the small, cramped cells. And yeah, I'm leaning towards doing that, but we'll see how we go there. Now, how do I want this? I need a bit of an entranceway running down this side. And I want to have... You know what? I'm going to do it differently because we've done the same thing like that for a while now. I'm going to have separate little rooms like we used to have. You know, the thing is, I don't really need really high capacity in this one. So we used to have... That's actually too small, isn't it? We need 3x3. Let's have a sort of a separate 1, 2, 3. That's a bit too big. We're going to have it like a separate block. We're not going to attach it to the wall because, well, I just want to do something a bit different. So this will be like an office area, and there we go. That should be about right. Nope, balls get right up. There we go. And that is about the right size. I'm going to actually expand this one at the bottom, and what we'll have is like a staff room here. Okay, so this will actually be the staff room, you see, at the bottom. And then 1, 2, 3, 4 offices. We do need a warden's office, and we can have it like that side there. That's quite alright. And then we need an area for the power block, and also for the... this actually is a bit too big. I might as well shrink it down. There we go. We need an area for the power block, which is a 5x5, which actually could... We could technically have it outside. We've never really had it outside for a long time, but we might as well. Let's have it, I guess, let's run a pathway here. So we have a pathway going between all of these areas, and obviously this will be where we have the warden's office going in there. We'll have a pathway going straight up into there, which obviously this whole area will be staff only. So there we are, and that's about right. So there's 1, 2, 3, 4 offices. Then we've got a room at the bottom for the staff room, and then we've got this one, which is the warden's office. So what I need to do is just sort of brick that entire thing off. Nobody gets inside there, just to make sure. Right, and then we just need a 5x5, which that'll be our electronic area. That'll be where we have our generator. We'll have the generator there, and we'll have the water pump there, and then we'll have this area as storage because we haven't yet got one. So we have that area as storage. That makes sense to me. We'll just delete that off. Oh, shite, I actually needed that. 30, that was actually measuring the center of my prison. That is 39, yes it is. So we can get rid of that bit and just, oh, that's glitched out a little bit. And then we can get make sure that's 39 as well, which it will be, yes, of course, but always best to double check. Cut twice, measure once? No, other way around from that one, isn't it? It's measure twice and cut once. So there we go. That is our storage area. What else do we need? Well, we haven't got a shop, and we haven't got we've got a searching area there. We haven't got a visitation. Well, there's a lot of things we haven't got so far. I think it's best if I just, expand this off and have it so this is the kitchen, okay? We do need a kitchen, and that could be that one there. The only problem is that we don't have a central place for letting the prisoners out. So we could, if we wanted to, get rid of that and have maybe like a corridor along here, like running along either side. Like, hang on, let me just measure this up to about there. Running that up like that, and then let the prisoners out either side. Okay, and then along, and along, and then that could be our kitchen. Okay, prisoners come out there, and then we can have pathways. So this will all be pathway, you see. And then along, like that. Something like that for now. Let's do the center walls. There we are. This should be an okay size kitchen. Not too big, but it's about right. Obviously, we're going to have doors there. We'll have doors all the way along here. Doors all over the place. We'll have a double door there. What I'll do is I'll just put objects in this. So door there, door there, door there. That should be about right. Now, this being storage, we want very easy access to it. Now, we could do it two ways. We could have an automatic door opener, which is the way I'm sort of leaning towards. So I think if we have an automatic door opener... Oh, no. If we just have a staff door there and a staff door there, straight through and in. Perfect. That's no problem. That'll be a staff door. We'll have a double door there, which will be, a full-on automatic door opener. Yep, and then that'll all be staff only. Okay, that seems to work out. That seems to work out quite well. Okay, this area up the top here, this is going to be a couple of things. First, we want visitation. So let's just drag this up. And what I want to do is make sure we can get 3x2s in, which we can. That is perfectly sized. In fact, no, let's get rid of that. It might be a bit too small. What I want to do is have I want them to be like that. Now, I did do like a weird... again, going back through that save video, which was very, very long. Going back through all my previous saves, I realized that I did do like a weird sort of thing where we could have... Basically, we did this. Like that, you see. And it was like separate areas, and I really like the idea of that. But obviously it's going to take a little bit of time to really measure out, and it might not work, but we'll see how far we go with this one. So these will all be visitation rooms. Again, not really entirely sure what we're going to do for the capacity of this thing, and that is absolutely bob on in terms of sizing. Look at that. That is perfect. Actually, I think it should be the other way around. It should be that, really, shouldn't it? To be honest with you. Like that. Yeah, it's actually that, you see. Okay. And then, you know, these are the visitation tables. I think you get the idea. Do I want to do it? Well, yes, I am going to do it, because otherwise I will forget. See, the problem is that if I did like a big, I could probably make a month's work of Prison Architect videos in about a day. Just, you know, probably less, and just record it all in one big lump. But because obviously I get your feedback and comments, it's actually a lot more difficult. But anyway, it's worth it. Right, we need to expand this right to the back, and then we'll have an entrance there. And then, obviously, the people can come in and go around there. Now, we've got this bit at the back, which currently has no purpose. So, what could this be? Well, remember, nobody can get in here. This is going to be not staff only, but at the moment, nobody can really get in there. Now, I would like, ideally, to have a couple of rooms in here. So, if we pull this, if we just assume that there's going to be a walkway, I don't really like the idea of having it like a walkway like that. So we haven't yet got a mail room. We haven't got a post room or anything. So this could be mail room. This one could be the shop. But again, it's very, very... it's sort of out the way, isn't it? Maybe if we move this further back. What size is it? This is a case... This is a... sort of 8 by 33. Well, it'll just be from there, won't it? So it'll be 8 by 33, which should be there. Okay, let's just get rid of that for now. And assuming we had that size, it wouldn't work because nobody can get into it. But if we pull that down there, block that off. It means that the only way into the prison, into this area, sadly, would be through that one door. And we'll have to have the... So we could just have the visitor tables like that. I really like the idea what we had before, but it's just... It's going to be a little problematic, you see, to fit in properly. And we can get more in this way, you see. And this will just conform a little bit better. I think we're going to go with that, just because it feels a little bit better, and it's a little bit easier for me as well. So let's just continue expanding down. Obviously, ooh, that's wrong. Pathways all the way along here, and then along there as well. We probably won't go all that way, actually, now that I think about it. We'll probably cut it to there, because these are going to be different things as well, different rooms. Right. So this will be our kitchen. So that is a 12 across, which is fine. So let's just measure our canteen, which is going to be quite long. Obviously, we haven't really made a big area for it, but it should be about right. So we'll just end that there. And then we want objects of 5, because obviously that's how big the serving tables are. But I think for once, we're going to put the serving tables on the side, which is going to be there. Okay, so that'll be 4 serving tables. Obviously, we'll expand the walls as well. We're going to have like a bit of an area where actually we'll do that, and then we can obviously lock this up if we need to do that. Then that'll be say a bin there, and then some cookers, more cookers there, and then we could, if we wanted to, well, we're definitely going to need more cookers as well, more cookers like that. With a little gap maybe between them, and then more stuff around here. We should be able to get the cookers we need, but I might have to change the order in the places where they are. So this is very, very cramped actually, but we'll do what we can. So we want a... Basically it's going to be a 4x3 like that, but even that's not going to work properly. So we want, say, a 4x3. And basically do that all the way along. Okay, 4x3 all the way along. So it is basically one row of tables, you see. Tables and benches and tables. So 4x3, 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 4x3. Just going to keep going. It's going to be very, very long. It's actually very long, isn't it? I think that's a very, very long area, but I think it's about right. So what we'll do, we'll then snap that shut. There we are. And then we're going to have entranceways. So we'll have an entrance there and an entrance there. There, purely because it fits in with this. Okay, so we'll have them. I think that'll be about right. It's not overly large, but again, we're not going to go for a large capacity prison, but that'll be about right. Then we need another entranceway somewhere else. We could have it at the back, you see, if we do it like this. Actually make it a little bit bigger, just for sake of security, and there we go. There's a bit of an entranceway. We could do it over there, but I think that'll be about right, unless we want to do it like that, you see. Maybe we'll give that a try. Yeah, that sort of seems to work. Again, more entrances, you know, it's difficult for security, but it's also better to fit people in. Then we're going to have phone booths. Actually, no, we're not going to have phone booths there. What we might do is have... We could have another 3x... We could have 3x3s there. You know what, I'm not really convinced that that's the way to go there. Is that about right? Right, so that's a weird design, obviously. Then all this at the back is pointless. Can we fit more in? We can fit more in. That's the whole point. Not convinced. Not convinced. Going to try something different here. I'm going to do it in a way that is like a funnel system. As in, they come in, all of the prisoners come in here. Okay, well, maybe not just here, but they'll come in here. And then they will go to get their food from... Could do the centre. Come in here, and then get their food from... I guess... One there. One there, and one there. Is that about right? There's no point in that, is there, really? So you could have it, so that's a serving table, that's a serving table, two in the middle there as well. That would work, but if we did it slightly differently and had the tables, like, no. See, I'm trying to do it so they come in here and then they basically go through the serving tables and then they go and sit down. But then we're going to have an entrance on that right side anyway, so that's left actually. On the left-hand side, so it's not going to work out as I planned, so let's just not mess around. We'll do it 10 by 10, put the walls back in, and then so they'll come in here and then they'll go around there, and then we should be able to fit some tables in. So it'll be... That one would not work out. Let's just have it as... There we go. That's a bit better, you see. And then we could just continue the same sort of path. See, doing it this way makes it a bit easier for me to work out exactly how many we need. And I think that is about right. So I mentioned earlier that I'm not going to have any... We'll have an entranceway in there, you see. Not going to have any... phone booths in here. Now, the reason for that is the way the new gangs things work is they will take over territory, and it'll be things like common room and the yard. And I want to make it so that I'm actually making the prison worse. I'm knowingly making this prison not as good as it could be, because I want to have it so you can have a... I guess it would be like a... like an area of contention. So they'll only, like, you know, phone booths are in here, but if you have, say, only one area or a couple of areas with phone booths and they get taken over, then that'll be interesting. I don't know if that makes sense, but, you know, just me. Right, so there's that done. I'm just going to brick this side off, because what I want to do is have, like, a couple of areas. So I want a shop, which will be this thing here. And then we'll have like a mail room and a library, and then also a classroom on that side there. And then I think we're missing a couple of things out. In fact, do we want a classroom? Classroom is sort of mandatory these days, really, but I could put it there, could move it around, don't know yet. We don't need a library, actually, so we could get rid of a library and instead put a chapel in. You don't need all of these things that I do, but I don't know. I'm not entirely convinced. We'll see how we go with that one. Right. I might put things like that at the back, but I don't know. What else could I do? I think if we have a pathway going right across there, okay? So we have, say, the shop and then the library. We might change the sizes of them, you understand? Shop, library, whatever along there. And then at the back, we have, on this side, say, is that 12 interior size? It is 12 interior size. We could have a chapel there, okay? But I don't know, would that be a good idea or not? How tall is that one? It's 11, you see. So it'll be 11, which I think that's almost there. See, that'll block that bit off, which won't be good. Shrink it down by 2. Right, so you can get into that one. Just trying to make it symmetrical, you see. Inside diameter or size is 12 by 8. So hopefully this other one is going to be the same. 12 by 8 it is, yeah. So we have this is like a chapel. This is something else. Haven't yet decided what that'll be. Could be common room. It could be... What could it be? Could be all sorts, that. Could be anything it wants to be. Let's have a quick look. Rooms. So, reception. Yeah, we got that. Shop. Mailroom. Library. Classroom. Or could be... No, the Visitation is over there. That could be a classroom, I guess. Yeah, classroom workout. Chapel, maybe. And then down the bottom here, we haven't yet got an area for like parole, so we could cut that in the middle and have a parole there. But that room is basically the same. You know, it's the same size, and the reason it's the same size is I want to have a pathway around here, and the loudest helicopter is like an inch from my house by the sound of it. I don't know if you can hear that. Right, we're going to have a couple of rooms here. And actually, they're not rooms. These are not going to be rooms. These are going to be fences. Inside there is going to be a yard. And we're fencing the yard off for a very specific reason. We want to have an area where prisoners can go in and they can actually take it over. Again, I'm sort of gimping the prison on purpose, so it's, you know, to make it interesting. And I don't know if I want double doors. I want it just standard doors so anyone can go in. And I guess we'll have it like that, you see. We'll have several entrance ways into it. But this will just be fences. And like that. Cut that off. Yes. That makes sense to me. That's about right. Yeah. So these are going to be 2 yards, and we'll put benches and things in the yards as well. And you know what really bugs me? That should really be a straight throw, shouldn't it? Like that, you see? That should be a straight throw from there, which means we can actually increase the size of that to there, and then also cut them out, cut that out, and then increase that by 1. And then it's a straight throw, straight down there, and I'm sure there's now going to be people going, I'm really glad he did that, because, yeah, some people would not like it, and I am aware, which is why I fixed it for you. There you go. Hope you appreciate that. Right. Fixed it for myself as well, not just for you. But yeah, there we go. So that could be whatever. We could split that in the middle, make that 2 parole or something. So, there we go. So far, so good. Now, we're missing a couple of things. We haven't yet got any common room, and I think at the back here, we're going to have a couple of buildings. And this is going to be common room and other things. Actually, you know what? No, before we do anything else, let's get on with the cells. We need to get on with these cell blocks. So, I want the cell blocks so we can have, say, we want a pathway all the way along the outside like that, okay? I don't know why, but it feels like right to have the pathway along the outside. And yes, I am knowingly making this so that there will be a major problem with contraband, because contraband also now plays a big part because they can be traded over. Again, I'm making this prison so that it is... we're just showing features off more than anything else. And, you know, I will have problems with a certain contraband. I know, I'm aware. Right, let's make a room. So this room is going to have cells in it. But I want to see what sort of size. Now, I could make them 2 by 2, but I don't want to do that. I think I do want to make it standard sort of size, but that is not going to work out. So, well, let's have a quick look. So, we'll go for 2, 2, 2, 2, size 2 all the way down. And that wouldn't work either. Okay, what I'm going to do then, I'm going to put them on the side, and we'll have it that size. Okay, we're going to have it like that, right? And then we'll do that all the way down, like this. And then we will leave it there, because this bit is going to be a shower, right? And we want a bit of a gap, like that, right? And then 2, and then it will be up there. And then 1, 2, and then that is the size of this thing. Okay, there's the size of it. So we'll actually plan one off fully, and this will be our template for the rest of it, because obviously that makes it a lot easier for us down the line. There we are. So that'll be our cell. Not our cell size, but that'll be our, that'll be 1 cell block. So shower down the bottom, and then 2, 4, 6, 8, 10 cells in each one, okay? So that's fine. In the middle, we want to have a quick look at our rooms. Common room has to be indoors. So we're going to have a common room in the center here, and in that, we will have a couple of things. We will have, this will be common room down the middle, as I said. And we will have like benches, and actually we probably need it a little bit wider for it to be a common room. Let's widen it by 2. Like that, you see? What I'm going to do, I'm actually going to have the cells, have a couple of cells at the back, which are a little bit bigger. Do I want to do that? I do want to do that, but I don't know how to do it. No, because then we won't have a shower. That's not going to work. What I'm trying to do is just maximize our space potential here. So that would make a bigger cell, but it wouldn't allow me to really have any shower. And if I did that, shower would be bloody tiny, wouldn't it? Not that you need a big shower. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. I mean, only 12 people per cell. Let's brick that up, and we'll say entrances at the top, because we haven't done that. We always put them in the center before. And then go up like that. Right, so that's still slightly bigger for reasons. And then we'll have an entrance here. It's going to be very tight. Hang on, where's the middle? There's the middle. 9. Bollocks, I've messed it up. It's too big. It's actually a bit too big. We need to shrink it down by 1. Right? Now there's a middle. Something like that. Okay. And I will explain what I'm doing properly in a second. That's getting cut down to that size. And then we have... We don't really need this little entranceway like that. We could even have it like that, you see. And have all that shower. That's big enough for what we need. Right, and in the center, which will be sort of that size... Okay, but what I'm going to do is I'm just going to do that. That'll be all common room with things like pool tables and stuff like that. Now, the reason I've done this, and you're going to go like, hang on, why has he done this? Well, as I said, gangs are now playing a bigger part of the game, and prisoners will actually try and take over areas where there's things that you want. So, for example, phone booths and common rooms and pool tables and stuff like that. So having them in these cells, what'll probably happen, and what I hope what's going to happen is we're going to bring people in. They're going to go inside, and then they're going to wander around, and they're going to go, right, let's get everybody in this cell block, and then they'll take that over, and then they'll control that cell block, and then they'll move on, and hopefully we'll get some interesting emergent gameplay. Right, so it's 16 by 27. Let's see how many we can get in here. So there's a 16, and hopefully we can get another 16 in here. Oh, well, that is made to bloody measure, that thing, isn't it? Look at that, with a nice little walkway between them. That is 16. Let me just check these ones off. That is 16, and that is 16 as well. Well, honestly, I was not going to have that many in, because now we have a total of, 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12 prisoners, times 6 is 72, or is my maths garbage? It's a bit. It's enough that I'm happy with what we've got there. So, I'm pretty sure I got that maths wrong, but whatever. We've got some amount of prisoners, and there is that. So, there's our common room, things like that. Right, now I want to go down and check just to see what we haven't got. And I know I haven't got an infirmary, and basically this area at the back may become that thing. In fact, what I might do is actually make a whole big chunk here for the things like security, because we haven't got that either, or solitary. Oh, God, we're missing loads of things now that I think about it. Right, let's just go to walls, and we need to sort of cut this off. And we need at least a 4x4, which will be that, you see. Okay, now that is going to be our psychologist office in there. Okay, that's our psychologist office. And then we need, next to it, this is going to be the infirmary, so it's big enough. And then we need a morgue, which can be pretty much tacked on the side, if I'm completely honest with you. You don't really actually know, because I have a feeling that we're going to need a fairly big infirmary and a fairly big morgue, sadly. We'll have that as the morgue, which you'll have, I guess, that size. Is that about right? Yep, because we'll have morgue slabs like that either side, you see. So we'll have 5 morgue slabs, and then we need a gap down the middle. 5 morgue slabs. Walls, and then obviously we'll have an entranceway there. Then this will be our infirmary, okay, and we can have beds, 2 beds there, you see, like double beds there. Have beds down that side. We can have beds all over. That's about right. Okay, at the back here we're really starting to struggle for space now. We don't yet have solitary, and if I'm honest, this is probably the right size for solitary. That, you see. No, it's not. Oh dear, oh dear. Okay, so we are actually really short on space now. Right, this area here, we currently don't have a parole, so let's make this parole. Okay, we'll make that bit parole there. And it only needs to be, I think, 5x5 parole. Let me have a quick check of that one, just to make sure we've got that right. Parole is 5x5. Okay, so that's fine. So we'll make it 5x5, which is that, right? So there we go. That is a 5x5 room. And then this, at the back, that area there, is now my morgue, which will contain, basically, 6 slabs along that side. Oh, 4, no, it won't be 6 slabs. It'll be a total of 3 slabs, because you can only have them like one side. So that'll be, yeah, that'll be about right. Then this could be the infirmary. Okay? Makes sense to me, but don't know if it makes sense to you. Be about right. I think we'll have the entrance there, because then we can have beds down either side, you see. Oh, see, that's a little bit too small, that thing. A little bit too small. What I could do, I could always shrink this down. Could always extend this a little bit, you see. By even just 1 space would help me out just a little bit. No. That's too much work. Too much work, little payoff. I shouldn't have had this gap all the way around here. This is very, very big, you see, and there's no real reason for it, but we'll put up with it. Right, so the morgue's there, which I think is going to be too small, if I'm completely honest with you. And we've got our infirmary. So there's the morgue there. It's about right. Probably a bit too small. We'll see how that one goes. I think there will be a lot of deaths in this prison. I really do think we're gonna have some deaths in here. But if we really needed to, we could expand the morgue like that, you see, and that makes a bit more sense. That makes a little bit more sense having it that size. But then, even so, see, I need a whole area really. If I get rid of that parole, if I assume that that's not parole anymore, where else can I put parole? Over there somewhere. Over there somewhere, I think. We're going to have to split, say, that up and have a 5x5 like that. Or it's going to have to just be that sort of size, you see. That's parole. That's... It was like one was the library and the chapel, wasn't it? Something like that. We're going to have to really chop some right down. Maybe that's a small library there. And then this is going to be psychologist office there. Okay, there's a 4x4. And then this is the morgue, which we have all of the slabs. I want about 6 slabs on this thing. Right, so there's the slabs there. And we can put them that side instead, you see. And then we want 4 beds there, 8 beds there, entranceway there. Okay, that's a lot better. That makes a lot more sense. It's done. Right, okay, over here, what are we missing? Let's have a quick think. For a start off, we know that we haven't got a holding cell, which is a bit problematic, and we also haven't got a solitary area. So let's probably deal with both of them right now. Solitary is going to be left for the next one. We need to do a holding cell, which is a 5x5. Now, I don't really plan on using it, but we're going to have to do what we can. So that is a 5x5. So it is there just to be there, right? That's all it really is. We're not really... Hopefully, we won't use it a lot. And then solitary will be in this area here. So we're going to have a solitary area going all the way back. Like so. Okay, so there's our solitary area all the way along. Alright, there's solitary. And obviously we'll have entranceways either side. This area is going to be a couple of things. Actually, I want that as security. I think that one is a security office, but I don't know whether I want armed things at the back. We don't currently have dogs, which is problematic, so we can actually fit them in there because it's 5x5 the size of the dogs. So if we just cut that off and say that's the dog area, let's have a quick look. I think it's 5x5 kennel, 5x5, so we can have it easily enough in there. And this is our security, which could be 3x3. That's a set of security, like viewers, like monitors, CCTV, door opener, a couple of things around here. It's cramped. It's certainly cramped. In fact, what's probably best is if we sort of get rid of all of this solitary. We probably don't need it. What I'll do, if I have that as an armory, that is dogs, this is our actual security room. That seems to make more sense. And then it means you can get into the solitary from there, and from there it means you're always going to escort through here, but that's going to be where the most... no, because you want that staff only. You always want that staff only, I guess. We'll have it like that. Okay, that seems to make sense to me. Let's just have a quick look through the rooms, and then you're going to hear me go, oh yeah, I've missed that out. So, cells, yes, we've got several of them. Holding cell, yes, a little one down there. Solitary's in. Canteen and kitchen are sorted. We've got a shower at the back of each room. It might have to change, I don't know. 2 yards, yes, that's fine. Storage is there. Deliveries and garbage are at the front. Workshop, no, we're not having one. Security room is there. We've just done that. Offices are at the back. We've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 offices, which is a good size. 6 there, including the psychologist, all good. Infirmary and morgue are down the bottom, that's fine. Common room, we do have one, but it's basically in each of these cells, so we don't actually have a common room, if that makes any sense to you. They're all in each individual cell block, but you know, that's fine. I already know that. I've just seen cleaning cupboard and I've missed that out. Laundry, no, we don't have that. We're going to have to put that in a second. Cleaning cupboard, no. Kennel, yes. Armory, yes. Staff room, yes. It's that bit there. Library, we're probably going to have as that bit there. Forestry, no. Classroom, yes, at the back. Chapel, and exports, no. Chapel, yes. So, reception, yes, this bit here. Mail room, we've got, let's work this out. Mail room there. Hang on, wait. So we got shop. There's a shop. Shop there. Mail room there. Okay. This one, library. Chapel. Classroom. Parole. Right? So that's all in. So what are we missing? We're missing a cleaning cupboard and a laundry. Problems. Problem indeed. So, this area here is getting redesigned. So, this is where we have our staff room and other things as well. So, we're going to just chop that right back. Like a really bad hedge that you just want to get rid of. Just chop it right back. There we go. Whoa, that glitched out a bit. Mouse just jumped for some reason there. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay. Staff room. We really saved a lot of space there, haven't we? And then 5 by 5 is power. 5 by 5 is power. Water. Water is going to be there. Yeah, water's okay there. And then a wall across. Fairly big open area, which we don't have any purpose for anymore. We need a... Let's just expand the storage a little bit. And then we want a laundry, which could go there with... Actually, if I just put the entrance there, this is going to make a bit more sense because you're always... For some reason, the game always likes it likes wider rooms rather than longer. I don't know why, it's just the way that things work out in terms of sizing. The wide is always better. Not in life, but, you know, in the game it is. So there's our storage, and there is our laundry-ish. Now, we've got another area down the bottom here, which currently doesn't have a purpose. So I could have that as a classroom, which means we can free up one of the spaces up there because we had a small classroom. Maybe even have 2 per roll. That seems to be about right. And we'll have an entrance to that there, entrance to that there. And we're about done. So, as far as I can tell, obviously we haven't got a cleaning cupboard. We could make that one there. I don't think we're going to have that because we're not going to have any people working in this. Or rather, we're going to have just janitors and things like that. We're not going to have the prisoners working. Although we might, because then they make money. So, yeah, we might have people working in here. So, I might actually change one of these to a cleaning cupboard. But I actually want your opinions on these. I want your thoughts on that one. That is the plan for our Alpha 35 prison. It's very reminiscent of some of the earlier ones I've done with these individual blocks. It is different in that... Obviously, we've got gangs now, and we've got very areas of high contention. We've got, obviously, a lot more stuff in when it comes to training the prisoners, and we've got, you know, like laundry and all that sort of stuff to deal with, as well as shops and all of that. Obviously, we've got Visitation at the back there. So it's a fairly big prison, well, it's a fairly cramped prison. Obviously, all this is cramped in the centre as well. But I'd like to know your thoughts on this one. What changes do you think we make? What amendments? All of that sort of thing. Put them in the comments, and then in a couple of days, as of the time of recording, I will get the actual construction started. So we're going to leave it there. Is that in the center? I don't think it is. Nope, that is it. So actually, to be the center, we'd have to have a double door on that one, like that, if we really needed one. Surprised I didn't notice that one. I'll change it later. What do you think about this one? What changes do you think we'll make? Put it in the comments, and we'll go from there. As always, thank you very much for watching. Comments in the comments, and generic partings.